So what are you guys?
We're part of the SWARTWOOD family!
One more topic in our little crash course. Of course, if you want, I can always go back and do these things a bit more slowly, but I want to just get this out of the way as quickly as possible, and then you want to get on to like z-test, t-test, etc. Okay? So, by the way, all that stuff we're looking at, the mean, the median, and the mode, all of this stuff, even though we're going to be primarily concerned with the mean, these are measures of what the center looks like, center in quotes, right? These are measures of what the average person looks like. They're measures of central tendency. So that's an important thing to know. So you want to know what the average person looks like, right? But sometimes you want to know how spread out things are, because that'll give you information about the population, right? So sometimes it might look like this. Maybe you're looking at two sets of scores, and they might even have the same averages, right? The same means. But this one's really spread out, and this one's not so spread out. So if the average here were 2, and the average here were 2, right? This might indicate, well, the average here is 2, but if you see a score like 10, that's not that unusual. This thing might be, well, the average here is 2, but if you see a score of 10, that's really an outlier, because you don't expect to see that. You expect to see a lot of scores just hover around 2, okay? So these are what are called measures of spread. So I want to know how spread out these scores are. Okay, so, and by the way, I've been talking pretty mellow so far, but scores can be anything, right? They can be things like literally scores on tests, how many times your dog goes out for a walk, etc., etc. Okay? All right, so let's look at measures of spread. So one way is something called the range. Okay. This is a very mellow way of doing this. So let's say I have a bunch of scores that are like this, 1, 2, just numbers, scores from 1 to 10. Those are my actual scores, okay? Well, the range would just be how far apart are they? So you take the lowest guy and the highest guy, so you take the highest guy, subtract the lowest guy, and you get a range of 9. That's it. So the range is literally the highest score, take away the lowest, and it does in some crude sense give you a measure of spread, right? Like how far apart these scores are. Okay, but I think we can do a little bit better than that. Okay. So we're going to start with what's called the variance. So the variance is going to be some measure of spread. Okay, so bear with me here. Let's assume we only have 2 scores, 0 and 10. So you take 2 people. How many pounds of gummy bears do you eat per day? 1. How many pounds of gummy bears do you eat per day? 10. Okay, so clearly if my scores are 0 and 10, the average is 5. Okay. In fact, let's make it special. Let's make it pink. All right, but now we take 2 people over here. How many pounds of gummy bears do you eat per day? 5. How many pounds of gummy bears do you eat per day? 5. Then the average here is going to be 5. Measure of central tendency is the same for both groups. This is 5, and this is 5. Does everybody agree? Okay, but it's clear just looking at this sucker. This is not spread out, but this is, right? Okay, so I want to measure this spread. So one natural way to do it is just look at the difference, right? So if you look at this guy, do you agree that this guy is 5 points below the average? So we can think of this spread as -5. And this guy is 5 points above the average, so we can think of this as +5. Okay? Here it's very mellow. This guy is nothing away from the average, so that's 0. And this guy is nothing away from the average, so that too is 0. So now, if I want to lump them into one number, I think a natural thing to do is add them. I don't know why it's so giggly, sorry. Okay. There's no problem with that. 0 and 0 give us 0, this looks good. The problem is over here. Because of the nature of what the average means, it's a number that in some sense sits in the middle. So you take the average and you take the scores above and below and you add up all the differences. You can clearly see here, +5 and -5 give you 0. That's not what we want. Because over here, this is right. These guys are not spread out. But over here, this would be completely wrong. 0 and 10 are much more spread out than 5 and 5. But if you just take how far they are from the average and we add up these differences, we will always get 0. Okay? So what screwed this up? Here there's no problem, but what screwed this up was 5 above is a pretty big gap, 5 below is a pretty big gap. What screwed up is when we added them together, the negatives and positives canceled out. So one way to fix this would be take the absolute value. The absolute value of 5 is +5, the absolute value of -5 is +5, right? And that could work, but believe it or not, mathematically, absolute values are difficult to work with. Okay? The method we're about to do will actually allow you, if you cared about it, to impose more structure, or at least structure we're commonly familiar with, if you want it. Okay? So let's do this. One way is you can take the absolute value, but another way is why don't we try squaring things? Okay? Why? Because if you square a positive number, you will get back a positive number. Okay? But if you square a negative number, you will get back a positive number. And if you add these positive numbers up, you'll get a positive number. There will be no cancellation. Does everybody see that? Minus 5 and plus 5 don't cancel anymore because you're squaring both to get 25 and 25. So it seems like everything looks good. If you're curious about this, I'll add this in now. But if not, you can just skip this next part. But remember how I said you can impose extra structure that we're familiar with? Remember the Pythagorean Theorem? Like a squared plus b squared is c squared. Right? Well, if you're squaring things, you can get relationships like that in there. And if you want, you can throw in some geometry on top of the stats. I'm not kidding, okay? But whatever. For us, we're going to keep it super mellow. So I get it. 25 plus 25, everybody's positive, or possibly 0 if the difference was 0. Add them up, there's no cancellation, life is good. Because 50 is definitely bigger than 0, so you know these scores are more spread out than those scores, okay? So now we have two problems. One is this. Well, first, do you buy what we did? Okay, but now we have two problems. Here's problem number 1. I got 4 scores here. The average is 5, just like over here. The spread intuitively looks the same. You've got scores that are either 5 above or 5 below. Yeah, sorry, I kind of wrote the above down here, but whatever. Okay, so 5 above, 5 below. Here it's what? 5 above, 5 below. So the spread looks the same. But if you follow a procedure, these guys are minus, this guy's 5 below, squared. That's 5 below 5, so minus 5, squared. This 10 is 5 above, so plus 5, squared. And this 10 is 5 above, so plus 5, squared. And then we add them up. 25 plus 25 plus 25 plus 25 is 100. Okay, now using our method here, 50 and 100. This implies, if this is a measure of spread, that these scores are more spread out than these scores, right? But that's just not true, right? Looking intuitively, the 10s and the 0s are spread out just like this 10 and this 0. Does everybody see that? So the reason why this score is inflated isn't that these numbers are different. They're 25, just like these are 25, right? It's just that we have more of them, and we're adding them together. It doesn't seem fair that just because we have more guys over here, that's how it's increasing the spread, because it's not. You've got the average, and you've got scores going one way and scores going the other way. But having more scores here doesn't mean you're more spread out. So to make this fair, we don't want the number of guys to have this sort of effect. Okay, so how do you make it fair? Well, if you have 2 scores, and you divide by 2, you will get that the average spread looks like 25, and that's true. Over here, if you have 100, but it came from 4 different guys being added up, if you divide by 4, you'll get that the average spread is 25. That's exactly what we want, because now this 25 matches that 25, okay? Now I mentioned there were 2 problems. Problem number 1 was this issue about having more scores, lopsiding our view of the spread. We fixed that. But the second problem is this. These numbers work, but they're much bigger than the actual differences. Because this difference is 5, but here we're getting what? 25. And you know this difference occurs because we squared this crowd, right? So if you want to bring things back and make the scaling the same, if we square things to begin with, to fix it, we need to take the square root, okay? And I'll do that in a sec. But once we take the square root, we're not actually talking about the variance. We're talking about something called the standard deviation. And I'm sure you've probably already heard of that, but I want to start with this, and I want to start with the variance. As we get more into this, if people have more in-depth questions, it's actually easier to understand in terms of variance, believe it or not, okay? All right, but anyway, I get this. So aside from the scaling issue, the variance is exactly what we wanted. It gives us a measure of spread. And guys are spread out, even if you have more scores on one side than the other, right? If the spread is about the same, then the scores here should be the same. In this particular example, they really are literally the same. Okay, so now, how do you put it into a formula? Like, how do we put all this into some dumb formula? Okay, so well, maybe I should have done it here. Let's do it over here. So, how do we get this -5? Well, you took your score, right? Take your score, whatever your score is, and you subtracted it from the mean, right? The average. So that's to see how far away you are. So you took your score, you subtracted it from the average, and you got -5, right? Sorry. That tells you 0 is 5 below the average. Okay, no big deal. Okay, so you take your score and you subtract the mean. Does it work over here? Absolutely. You take your score of 10, you subtract the mean, and you get 5. That tells you your score of 10 is 5 above. Okay, no big deal. All right, but you know what we did? We didn't just take these scores, we squared them, right? Okay, so we need to square the scores. And I guess we can do I, meaning we do it for score number 1 and score number 2. I get it. Okay, so then what do? We have this guy, so this -5 squared, that's what we have there. So for our first score, 0. 0 minus 5 is -5, and we squared it. That gives us 25, okay? What do we do over here? For, say, x2, we have 10. So 10 minus 5 is 5, square it. we get 25. Okay, no big deal. Do you remember what we did after that? We literally added these guys together to get that total. So I guess we need to sum this up from the first score to however many scores we're talking about. In this example, we had 2. In the example on the right, we had 4. Remember, the one over here with more scores shouldn't have a bigger spread than the guy with fewer scores, right? It should be based on how far the scores are spread out, not based on the number of scores. So to fix that problem, remember we divided. Here we divided by 2 to get 25, right? And of course, when we had 4 scores here, we divided by 4 to get 25 again. So the same thing, take all these guys and divide by the number. Okay, all right. Now again, a lot of textbooks here to literally talk about the population. They like to put a big M like this. That's fine. And this is actually our official formula for the variance. Okay. Now let me just add this tweak really quickly. We said that the problem with the variance though was everything was squared. So to fix that squaring, you take the square root. So a lot of times when you're actually listing and talking about numbers like this, with reference to the population and how spread out people are, you use the square root of the variance, which is called the standard deviation. Okay, so what is the standard deviation in words? It is how far from the average are you on average? To deal with that squaring, we took the square root. So the standard deviation is the square root of the variance. In this case, there's no thinking here. We just literally put in the same formula. Let's make it a big N. Just like that. Now some of you might be like, oh wait, maybe he's off here. Because I kind of remember in my textbook or something, there's an N-1. I'm about to address that, and I'm going to do it in a slightly non-conventional way, but it's really what this stuff means, okay? All right, let's talk about this. First, does everybody agree we understand what the variance is? We understand what the standard deviation is? That's just, take a break, make sure you're comfortable with that, and then we can keep going.